Well, good afternoon. It's a room full of creators and innovators. Can I get a better good afternoon? Um, it's a pleasure to be here. I got up this morning and I was speaking to my mom. And she said to me, "Looks like you're going somewhere special." I said, "Yes, I'm going to this amazing engineering university in Ghaziabad to speak to the students, around 500 of them." So she said, "All right, you know, Indian moms, so you're going to tell them how to plan for their future," she said to me. And I paused for a moment and I stopped and I turned around and I said, "Mom, no, I'm actually going to talk to the future." You know, the university years are the most exciting. And what happens after that, I think, is a framework of 3 Ds in your life. The first one is dreams. Dreams. How many of you have big dreams? I hope all of you have many, many big dreams. How many people want to be the Prime Minister of India? There's a few in the back. How many people want to build unicorn companies such as Elon Musk? How many people love Steve Jobs? How many people think Zomato ki tarah IPO karna hai? How many people have already worked out the spreadsheet? Dreams are very, very important. The first D is dreams. Hold on to it. Hold on to it for the next 20 minutes. Hopefully, I can add some fuel to that fire. The second D that you're filled of today is drive. How many people believe they're driven? Driven to succeed? Bas itne se hi? That's great. Drive is essential. It's essential because it's the fuel that takes you towards your dreams. Hold on to that drive, not only for the next 20 minutes, but for the next 20, 40 years to come. And if you have dreams, and if you have drive, the third D, I believe, is destiny, which you create. You will create your own destinies. This generation in particular will create its own destiny. So let's start. I think we should go back a little bit before we sort of start in the paucity of the 2020s that we live in. Since we are talking about a brave new world, it's important to understand where we came from. To any direction of the future, understanding the opportunities of history are crucial to our learning. I know this is an engineering school. We want to empirically qualify everything. I will try to put that together, but this is slightly philosophical as well. So the 80s. I don't know, anybody in the room who was born in the 80s or in the 70s? Okay, there's a few of us. That's good to know. Nice to have my tribe here. So, when you were born in the 70s, you observed the world in the 80s. The 80s workforce world was a world of hierarchy, a lot of command and control. You know, it was all about the top knows everything. We are the font of all knowledge. We would all go to our cubicles. We would sit there and we will follow strict industrialization rules and policies, be it human work or otherwise. It was also the era of extreme industrialization in the West, so I'm not saying it was wrong, it's just how it was. It was the era of extreme structure, extreme deployment, many cubicles in the workplace, much about being in your lane and following the process. And of course, hardware. Personal computers were just coming. IBM mainframe, I've been to Harvard, was just sitting there, and we used to think no one will be able to replace this IBM mainframe. We never thought the power of computing will actually be in our hands at that time. So fast forward 10 years, 1990s, these are dear to me. These are my years of university. It was the dot-com. I grew up to the sounds of modem. Does anybody in this room know what a modem sounds like? Oh, thank you. It goes like this. Tung, 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 tung. That's the sound of you accessing the internet. Have you ever heard the sound of you connecting to the internet? The people in 90s have. We all have. There was a sound. This was a moment. You would grab it if you were in India. I remember in 1998, in my first role in India, only the people who were considered high potential had access to connecting to the internet. This was fascinating stuff. Internet was this connection to the world which was changing the world all over. In the US, in Australia, in Europe, and here we were in our nation with this little machine called modem. We were able to connect to this emerging progress. That gateway happened in the 90s. It was opening our eyes. It was giving us a gateway to what is possible. What is possible? Yet, there were the likes of the creators such as Steve Jobs who put personal computing at the center of it, built great visions, and said, everybody will use a PC, a bold vision of engineering and human ingenuity combined. That happened in the 90s. It was the era of PCs, the era of the internet, and it was moving towards everything.com. And we thought we were bee's knees if we had access to that modem. And the world became slightly less stiff. You know, like, I'll be honest to you that if I was actually in an engineering university overseas, I would not be wearing a suit because everybody would think I know nothing about tech. So we were in 90s, just moving towards being slightly less stiff. Take us less seriously and take the possibilities of the world more seriously. That was the 90s. So far with me? Nobody sleeping? Awake ho na? Good. Now the 2000s. We come to the 2000s. How many people are on Facebook? How many people think Facebook is history? How many people think TikTok is the way to be? What is your average attention span? 15 seconds or 67? I can't quite track the precise number. But it is the era that you belong to, I assume. The era of the social network. The era when Facebook was created and we thought digitally connecting was actually establishing a relationship, a concept we'd never thought about before. The era when WhatsApp came around, YouTube came around. Next minute we were listening to Jhume Jo Pathan Meri Jaan on YouTube. And we were just in there, like friend requests, freelancing. The gig economy was happening all over the world, maybe emerging in India at this point in time. And we were seeing the era of smartphones. We put this thing called the mobile phone. Trust you me, if you were born in the 90s, the mobile phone was this big a brick. And if you had one, people used to say, "Ye kya phone leke ghumte rehte ho, ye satellite device types." And then you come to the 2000s, and there is this little device, many little devices, powerful devices, iPods, iPhones, transforming the human experience, all built by the intelligence of creative engineers and liberal art graduates coming together. .com was the thing that actually brought lots of new business models to life. Suddenly, client desktop software was not the thing. Suddenly, it was all software as a service. It gave life to a new way of doing business, connecting many people in the world. And of course, more jeans and more turtlenecks. And then we come to the 2020s. 2020s, of course, here we are. Who can forget COVID? Sometimes I think we're still recovering from it. COVID, artificial intelligence, cloud everywhere. I think the young people think more about the cloud, which is Azure or AWS, unlike the cloud actually is in the sky. This is your generation right here in the midst of the advancements of automation, digital transformation, and now allegedly, ladies and gentlemen, human intelligence is not enough. It's the era of artificial intelligence working alongside us. Since you are a university, I don't know how many of you have heard of Singularity University. Well, as we would say, Google it in the past, but I would say ask ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you tend to use. Singularity University is a university that talks about the biggest 10 tech trends that will actually shift humanity working more closely. It also talks about the age where humans and machines will work together. This is not something that's so far away, if I may say so. If you went to Silicon Valley in California, how many people want to go to California one day, even if it was for a holiday? How many people want to work in California? No shame in that. How many people want to build an autonomous driving car in India? Yes, no, you don't want to build it. That's okay. So, if you think about a world in which autonomous driving cars, space rockets are being built, autonomous driving cars are being built, human robots are being built, and you think about its adoption slowly but steadily across the world, we are already working with machines. One is in your hand every day, the mobile phone, and it's actually got artificial intelligence in here. But here's the kicker. The kicker is that with so much power in your hand, humanity also takes the second rise. So this is the era where you as engineers will create human-centric solutions possibly using the power of the tools of this technology. But in the 2020s, it turns out that all of you who are sitting in this room want a less hierarchical world. You want the ability to create. It's told to me by researchers that 73% of you expect flexibility in your work, and this is the era that we happen to live in. So let me ask you one question. Are you all Gen Z, i.e. you are born in 1997 to the 2012 era? Yes. Okay, excellent. Turns out you believe we know nothing. But that's all right. That's all right. It is the era of collaborative learning. It's the era where you will teach us more about many technologies than we will. It is the era where we, the previous generation, Gen X, I like to call it the generation everybody likes to ignore. It's almost like we didn't exist. For sure, we'll need to actually work with you in lockstep to bring that creativity to life. The challenge is ours, and the opportunity is yours. The question is, as young students sitting here, are you prepared to rewrite the rules? We are all products of our environment. And it is hard sometimes to distinguish from the environment and think about new things differently. But it is incumbent upon this generation to do so because you are the transformative generation of India. As you sit here, 65% of our country's population is under the age of 25. You are not simply the engineers of this country. You are the engineers of the world. Of the world, I note. And with that at your behest, how do you propose to rewrite the rules in your favor? In your favor and in favor of the world. What's the world you wish to create? I will share some more data points with you. Do you know how many startups are in India? Anybody? I know the rules said that you are not meant to interrupt the speaker, but the speaker would like you to interrupt her. No guesses? No? I think one of the biggest skills you will learn is to take a guess, an informed guess, or use technology immediately to answer. 159,000 by my last count, or 1.59 lakhs, as we call it, which is quite significant. India is the third largest startup country and a producer of unicorns, and $15 billion of capital is available at any given point in time for us to build companies in a country that barely could meet its budget 25, 40 years ago when at least I was growing up. This is a moment for you to rewrite the rules. As you build your careers, I want to ask you this. Did you get up this morning thinking, Mera score kya hai? How much did I score? What's my rank? Which job will I get? I would say that in this era, you are the builders of the jobs that others will take. You have the opportunity to create companies, one at least I didn't have in the India I grew up in. You have the opportunity to use technology like anybody else in the world as much as possible to build your proposition on top of that LLM that has already been invested into. Everybody familiar with what an LLM is? Large language model, we're good with this? Okay, very good. So when we rewrite the rules, or we think about rewrite the rules, I would say that purpose and competence and building mentality is critical. Don't think about simply a job. Think about being builders, builders of networks, builders of connections, builders of people with capital knowing you, builders of technology, builders of people who know about other emerging technologies. You build bridges between nations and between your curiosity, and remain curious. As I move towards the end of what I would like to leave with you as a message is a 3C framework, which hopefully it just might help you as you think about your future, which totally is in your hands. The first C is courage. Courage to be different. In your existing environment of many social and environmental conditions, लड़की है नहीं कर पाएगी, लड़का है यूपी का नॉर्थ में नहीं जा पाएगा, whatever that behest is, park it to the side and know your inner self. You are more courageous than the person telling you about it. Courage is not just about the social and environmental conditions, it's about your conviction to drive towards your dream. Hold that courage in yourself, because there will be more naysayers than there will be the yes people. Find the yes people and make them your tribe and build your courage. That's the first C. The second C is capital. You need capital. You have an underlying curiosity, you have an idea, and by the way, you need capital even if you're working for someone. You'll probably find yourself in a meeting one day asking for a budget allocation. That's capital. You're probably asking your parents to invest in your engineering today. That's capital. Capital is social and hard capital. Both of those, how do you raise them, is critical skill in life, especially for us engineers, because we are builders. Engage that capital and engage a mindset towards capital, which is about returning it from the day dot. From the day dot. Hopefully it will hold you in good stead, be it in entrepreneurship or be it in a boardroom. The last piece is competence. Redefine competence in your head. Competence is not a rank. It's also not a degree. It's your ability to learn new things at pace and be builders. It's your ability to find the people who can teach you those new things. Competence in the 21st century is adaptability. As I get to my last 30 seconds, I say this to you. With these 3 C's, the 3 things I started with, you guys must remain to be the dreamers to rewrite the rules. Hold on to the drive and go towards those dreams. And I assure you, the destiny is yours to create. Welcome to the 22nd century. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.